Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'll just display the shloka which is to be taken for today. Yeah. I would say the shloka. One of you could kindly repeat after me. प्रवृत्ताय निवृत्ताय पितृदेवाय कर्मणे नमो धर्म विपाकाय भृत्यवे दुःखदायः च. Whoever is there on the forum currently, so please repeat that shloka.
Yes, Mataji. Pravritaya nivritaya pitudevaya karmane namo dharma vipakaya mrityave dukkadhaya cha.
Madhuri, translation as well.
I'll read Mataji translation.
Yes,
Purport
please.
Also.
Yes, yes.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, you are the viewer of the results of pious activities. You are inclination, disinclination, and their resultant activities. You are the cause of the miserable conditions of life caused by irreligion, and therefore you are death. I offer you my respectful obeisances. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart, and from him issue a living entity's inclinations and disinclinations. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Sarvasya chaham riti sannivishto matta smritirnyanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead causes the asuras to forget him and the devotees to remember him. One's disinclinations are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Bhagavad Gita 16.7, pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidurasuraha. The asuras do not know which way one should be inclined to act and which way one should not be inclined to act. Although the asuras oppose devotional service, it is to be understood that they are inclined that way due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the asuras do not like to engage in the Lord's devotional service, the Lord within gives them intelligence to forget. Ordinary karmis desire promotion to Pitraloka, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.25. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrayanti pritavrataha. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods, and those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors. In this verse, the word dukkadaya, it's also very significant. For those who are non-devotees, are perpetually put into the cycle of birth and death. This is a very miserable condition because one's position in life is attained according to one's activities. The asuras or non-devotees are put into such miserable conditions. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderfully read. And so we are continuing ahead with our Rudra Gita, which is happening from few days. So this is further what Lord Shiva is speaking today is about pravrittaya nivrittaya. So normally, have we not ever seen there are people who get inclination for the bhakti, and there are some set of people who are just wanting not to ever take up bhakti. Have we met them like that? We find this difference?
Yes, Mataji. When there are few people where they look at us chanting and they will think that we are so much illusioned by, they are actually illusioned by Maya, but they will think we are illusioned by ISKCON's movement, and that's why we are chanting. They think we are illusioned. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for your input. Yeah, so today Lord Shiva is explaining us. Let us dive deep into this inclination and disinclination. So first I'll talk about disinclination, and here particularly Lord Shiva is speaking about those demoniac mentality people, demoniac personalities who asuras basically, See, asura का definition यही होता है जो भगवान को accept नहीं करते. Those who don't want to ever take shelter of the Supreme Lord. But then again in the purport also Srila Prabhupada writes that then such people, everybody has to surrender to the Lord. Those who directly don't surrender to the Lord, then he appears to them in the form of death. So death kalos me. So they have to meet Lord at the point of death, and that is their unki gati aise hoti. But now let us understand from these demons like Ravana, how much his wife Mandodari, if we read Ramayana, I am regularly attending here, we have very wonderful Ramayana classes, verse by verse by our seniors happening. So Ravana was being told by Mandodari so many times to take shelter of Rama, not to trouble Mother Sita and let her go back to her husband. But it just fell on the deaf ears of Ravana. Next, we see even Maricha. Maricha had 2 encounters with Lord Ram, and he was really shaken up. He understood now when I go in the form of deer, which Ravana was asking him to take a form of deer, go attract the mind of Sita, and then Ram when he's away, so I will capture Sita. So that's when Marich tries to convince Ravana so much that this is going to be my end, and also I caution you about your impending devastation. But then we see that Ravana never ever took shelter of Ram. So this is how the position of the asuras is, and that's why in this verse Lord Shiva is explaining that Lord wants to make them forget him. That verse Srila Prabhupada has quoted, from me comes remembrance, from me comes forgetfulness. So he is telling to the Lord that you are the cause of remembrance and you are the cause of forgetfulness. Forgetfulness of himself to such people, asuras. He doesn't want them. Why do you think Lord wants them to forget him? Anybody can think of it? Any inputs on that?
For
Because they
creating a
don't want
Leela,
to take
Mataji.
shelter of the Lord, Mataji. I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
trying.
fine. That's fine.
Thank
See,
Mataji,
Lord,
for creating a Leela. Mataji, for creating a Leela.
yeah, but you know what? We all living entities are children of Supreme Lord. Huh? Everybody. So for Lord Krishna, we have read in Bhagavad Gita, Sammoham Sarva Bhuteshu. If he is impartial, then for why some people he makes them remember him, and while for some he wants them to forget him, because they are free will is given to everyone. Free will is given, and exercising that free will and free will being misused. So these asuras don't want Krishna. They are very envious of the Supreme Lord. So because they are envious of him, and Lord doesn't want them to ever remember him, he will give them that facility. Why? Because he's seated in the heart. Seated in the heart, he can know what is that person's aspiration. Is he envious of me, or is he inclined to take shelter of my lotus feet? So this is the reason, our desires, our free will. How are we using it? Are we using it well, or are we misusing it? That decides this factor. And as a result, Lord wants to, we read further in the purport also, perpetually cast them into the ocean of material existence. I think 16.19 or something in BG also says that. And he doesn't ever want them to come and take shelter of him. He puts them in those species of life which are very abominable and let them suffer in that. The last line of the shloka says that he is dukkha daya. So this is dukkha only, no? If you are perpetually not getting freed from the cycle of birth and death, then you are in constant misery. Are we not facing kleshas? If we are not freed from the cycle of birth and death, in this material world, there are only kleshas. So then they are put in that cycle, and they never ever ever be liberated, or they can come out, So this is how it is given, that disinclination. And see, one thing, love cannot be forced. Lord can't make somebody, no, Ravana, whatever it is, you must love me. No, love is never forced. It is your inner desire, or it has to be spontaneous. Okay. So this is how we see the disinclination part. Coming to the inclination part. Now, under inclination, we can see there are devotees. I'll share you a few examples, some short stories, whatever we have found in our movement also. So in the initial days of when Srila Prabhupada was there were many Western disciples who were fond of surfing. See, the Westerners have very different sports, which they love. Surfing is something, water sport. I don't know how many of you know about it. It's on the board, you have to be there, and then you have to go over the waves,
Glide
so, yeah. So they are, going on those high waves, surfing. That is called surfing. So Prabhupada would always say, it's not surfing, it is suffering. Because Prabhupada always said they will get next birth of a fish. So later on, of course, some of them became devotees. But one fine day, one devotee who was serving Srila Prabhupada so wonderfully, but the material nature is so powerful, no? The Maya is so strong. Even sometimes when we are into the bhakti also, we are not fully immersed in our spiritual practices. Then this person, this devotee, he felt, no, enough. I did enough. 1-2 years I have served. I think I better go back to my surfing. He had this hobby of surfing, and he just wanted to go back to his earlier life where he was enjoying in the ocean surfing. So he goes back, he removes his kanthi, removes his tilak, he's back into his normal karmi clothes, and he goes to his country from where he belonged. And that time what happens? When he went for surfing, all these years, no, he was surfing. And there was never ever any danger. But that particular day, a shark comes and it is circling him. And he's like, oh my God, I have been surfing for so many years. Never ever this kind of thing happened. Today the shark has come. Firstly, he started saying Narsingha prayers. Still the shark is surfing, going around, circling around him. Then he's just chanted Mahamantra. Somehow the shark vanished. And he's understood, Lord doesn't want me to leave him. See, Lord is seated in the heart. And then how Lord makes a person not drift away from his lotus feet. So this disciple again came back and started serving. This is one example. Inclination. So for devotees, Lord has a different way of making them remember him. There was another devotee who was a pujari in those days in Western country. He was well trained. Pujari means you are so well trained for serving the deities. He was well trained. Pujari means already Brahmin Dikshit. But after serving for some time, one fine day he suddenly vanished from the movement. There was some disagreement with somebody, and I don't know what happened. And he decided to leave the movement. And he left. It was several years that he didn't connect back with the ISKCON movement. But then one fine day, his very close friend, he just dragged and brought him to one temple, ISKCON temple. And that's when he saw in that temple one pujari serving the Lord, and he was doing chamar to the Lord, he was fanning the Lord, he just couldn't control himself. The tears were rolling down his eyes because it gave him the memories of those days when he was serving the deity himself. So he just couldn't give up the taste of that bhakti, which he had done, whatever little bit he had done. And he immediately joined back as pujari. So he was back again inside in the movement, and so these issues happen. But the Lord is so merciful and kind, seated in the heart, he helps you connect back. He'll either bring you in contact with a devotee, or he will create such situations where you are impelled to come back to him. Then there is this beautiful story of Yamunacharya. I don't know how many of you have heard Yamunacharya from Sri Sampradaya, but a very powerful guru. These are 4 bona fide Sampradayas. Sri Sampradaya is also coming under that. So this is prior to Ramanujacharya. The Yamunacharya is much senior to him. So the Yamunacharya is born in a very learned Brahmin family, Vaishnava family, I would say. His grandfather, Nath Muni, was a very good devotee of the Lord. And but what happens is, his son, his son, that is Yamunacharya's parents, they just married and they went to Vrindavan Yatra. And when they returned back, the wife was expecting a baby, and that's when they named him Yamuna, because they just had holy dip in that holy river Yamuna, Maharani. So they named the child Yamuna. And this child was very sharp, very intelligent, but as the fate would have it, his father left this world very early. And then this child and the grandfather, that is the Nath Muni, who was very wonderful Vaishnava, he got so detached because he couldn't take that pain of death of the son, and he just renounces everything, and he's just renounces everything. This little Yamunacharya was trained, brought up very wonderfully. He was very bright, and he was put under one guru. And that guru is nurturing him, nourishing him spiritually, very wonderfully. But cutting the story short, if I go very long, then I can't cover the other two shlokas. So cutting the story short, in those days, there was this Pandya king. In his kingdom, there was very learned Brahmana. And this Brahmana would go around beating everybody doing Shastrarth. In those days, those who were learned, they would go and challenge each other. Shastrarth bolte hai na usko. So they will defeat anybody. So it's a great prestige, if they defeat it. So this person in the king's kingdom, Brahmana was very, what you can say, learned and erudite scholar. He was defeating everybody. And somehow or the other, now Yamuna is already 12 years old, and he's in the Guru's ashram. Guru is out. So that time, this king's people came and they said, "Where is your Guru? He owes us so much money." The condition was, if this scholar in the king's kingdom, he has defeated somebody, that person is supposed to pay tax to the king. Some amount of money was fixed. Now this Yamuna's guru was very poor man, so he couldn't pay the tax. When Yamuna heard this, that my guru, because he had so much reverence for his guru, how can my guru get defeated at the hands of this? My guru is such a wonderful Vaishnava. My guru feels it is a waste of time even to argue with some scholar over this Vedic knowledge. So he takes, I want to accept this challenge. So that person, with king's people, they started laughing. Anyway, the news was conveyed to the king. King agrees. The Brahmana agrees. He's laughing. Oh, 12-year-old child, what will he do Shastrarth with me? Anyway, he's called there in the kingdom, this child. And this child is so scholarly, he defeats this Brahmana in the kingdom right in front of the king. And the king had said, if you defeat this person, my Brahmana from the kingdom, I will give you half my Rajya, half my kingdom to rule you. And obviously Yamuna won the Shastrartha, and king had to give him the half kingdom. From that 12 years of age up to several years, now Yamuna became so engrossed in the administration affairs. He completely forgot about Lord. See how powerful Maya is. Of course, these are all great gurus, Vaishnavas, personalities. These all pastimes happen for us to learn that Maya is very strong. So he becomes very absorbed in his administration activities. He's already 34, 35 years of age now. And that is the time his grandfather is about to leave his body. Grandfather Nath Muni is worried that this grandchild has forgotten about Krishna. He's become like a king now. So aim of life is not to do all this, be a king, rule the kingdom, go and fight with other kings and expand your kingdom. That's not the goal of life. Goal of life is to take shelter of the Lord. And this boy was grown up so wonderfully learned, and now suddenly all this. So before quitting his body, there was this one disciple of his who was very exalted, Ram Mishra, if I'm not wrong. He tells him, I'm about to quit my body, but I give you responsibility. Bring my Yamuna back to the lotus feet of the Lord. This is South India, Sri Rangam. Okay. So this disciple understands that I have to fulfill the desire of my guru, that is Nath Muni. Now he left the world, left for the spiritual world. So then he thinks now Yamunacharya is the big king. I am an ordinary person. He will not, the soldiers will not even let me in the kingdom. So I have to think of a plan. And he decides that he will make friendship with the cook of the king. The cook is cooking all the nice varieties of food for the king. So he every day plucks some particular type of spinach, which is called tudu walai in South language. Some tudu walai is there, which if a person is eating, his mode of goodness increases and he becomes very peaceful and serene. So basically, to revive our spiritual life, we should be fixed in our mode of goodness. As a king, he was into so much passion and ignorance, right? So this every day he gave this cook this sabzi, and this cook would cook him, and king would be fed. One day, deliberately, he doesn't go. He doesn't give him to do one like. And king is telling to the cook, where is that dish which you feed me every day? Today, why is it not there? Saying that person who was giving me, no, he was not even charging me for it, anything. He just wants, well, he's your well-wisher. He's not come today. So king says, tomorrow when he comes, please, with lot of respect, bring him in inside the kingdom and let me talk to him. So this is how this Ram Mishra gets entry in the kingdom. And he tells to the king, actually, your grandfather, Nath Muni, has left a big treasure for you. I am just come to give you that treasure. So as a king, he's become very treasure. I want that treasure. As it is, I was going to attack so-and-so kingdom and I needed treasure. I want that treasure. Oh, my grandfather left a treasure for me. Very nice, great, good. I will come with you. So Ram Mishra puts a condition, you have to come alone with me. You're not going with a big army. So, okay, I'll go with you alone. While he's taking him, this Ram Mishra, on the way, he's chanting all the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. So as Yamuna Acharya is hearing the shlokas, see Bhagavad Gita, the scriptures are not different again from the Lord. So he kind of gets a big this thing, he's going, those verses remind him how he would sit and chant all those verses. And as they are walking, he tells him, stop. I want to sit at one place and hear from me like a guru. You please teach me all the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. They sit down for a few days and he's enlightening him back again. See the taste develop back again. It was already there. The seed of bhakti was there. But, sometimes all these situations come in our life. So then, now he's so attached. Hearing Bhagavad Gita removed all his ignorance. Just like Arjuna said, Nashto Moho. So now he's telling, I don't want that treasure. Let us go back. I just don't want any more treasure. He's saying, no, but I have to do my duty. I promised your grandfather, I will give you treasure. You take, then whatever you like, you do. He says, okay. That treasure is hidden behind 7 walls. And there is a snake which is guarding it. Okay, I will go. So they reach Ranganath temple. They cross the 6 walls. Lord is there. It seems there are 7 walls are there. Then when he comes face to face with the Supreme Lord Ranganath, which is Lord Krishna again, and he's reclining on the Ananta Shesh. That's why he told him, this treasure is hidden behind 7 walls and there is a snake guarding it. That is Ananta Shesh. Lord was reclining. So when he saw, he had the darshans of the deity Ranganath, the tears started pouring from his eyes and he says, nothing more. I want to be doing my devotional service. I don't want to be a king. I don't want that kingdom, absolutely. I don't want to even go back. So the mission got accomplished. The Paramatma seated in the heart, he also helped. He brought a devotee and he accepts Ram Sharan as his guru. And this is how in Sri Sampradaya, his name is, respected, and he's very wonderful Vaishnava. So from this story also we understand that how devotees also sometimes may drift, but again God seated in the heart, inclination again. Krishna will help you connect with a devotee. There was yet another example. These are all live examples which I'm giving you so that we build a complete faith in the words of Lord Shiva, his prayers. There was one person who was going on a bike. This is again foreign land. Somehow he meets with an accident, but that accident is not severe. He just falls off his bike. Bike is fallen over him, but somehow he loses his memory completely. And he gets up. Who am I? Who am I? Where have I come from? Who am I? Where have I come from? Now, these are the questions a seeker is asking normally, a spiritual seeker. Who am I? Where have I come from? So there was one ISKCON devotee passing from there. He's saying, I don't, that devotee asked him, who are you? He's saying, I don't know who I am, where I belong to. I just have no clue. All I remember is this bike must be mine because it was fallen over me. That's it. So this devotee took him. He kept him at his home. He gave him the complete journey of self-realization and all that courses, all the basic Bhagavad Gita shlokas. He made him understand that we are soul, we are not this body, whatever, in ISKCON. And that's how his journey began. It went on so wonderfully and so staunchly he was following it. He became temple president. Imagine from what he was, what he became. So probably this was previous birth he had done his bhakti, and how at a particular time Lord helped him to connect to a devotee and continue with his journey of bhakti unto Supreme Lord. So these are a few examples from which we understand. Going back into that verse, we see again further Srila Prabhupada writes that different people approach different personalities, like those who Yanti Deva Vratan, that shloka Prabhupada quotes, destinations are different. Many people say, no, we must have encountered people. कुछ भी करेंगे सब रास्ता एक है भगवान के पास जा रहा है. We are all going to go at the same destination. No. So the karmis, when they are worshipping demigods, their planets are different. They land up at that planet. Worshippers of ancestors will land up in Pitraloka. But those who take shelter of the Supreme Lord, they will go back to his abode, Golokada. That also Srila Prabhupada has clarified. And then we already discussed Dukkhadaya, that those who are perpetually living in this material existence, they are not able to free themselves from this bondage, from this cycle of birth and death. That is miserable condition. This Krishna has to give them dukkha. This pain he has to give them. Why? Because of their own, they don't want Krishna. That's why Krishna makes them forget him. They are asura mentality people. So Krishna has to make them. How much envious was Shishupal towards Krishna? He had no love. Forget love. He had so much of envy. He had to give him bad words daily. So obviously, free will is being misused, which free will God gives to everyone. You have to utilize it in a sensible manner. So we understood from this shloka. Now I'll try to do the verse number 42. We'll take that up. This has a pretty long purport, so I think we'll skip the purport, but we'll try to read translation and we'll try to focus on each word from this verse. Namasta Ashisham Isha Manave Karanatmane Namo Dharmaya Brihate Krishnaya Kunthame Dase Purushaya Puranaya Sankhya Yogeshwaraya Cha. One of you could repeat kindly.
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Namaste Ashishamisha Manave Karanatmane Namo Dharmaya Bruhate Krishnaya Kuntamedase Purushaya Puranaya Sankhya Yogeshwaraya Cha.
Mataji, translation as well, please.
Yes, Mataji, sure. Thank you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, you are the topmost of all bestowers of all benedictions, the oldest and supreme enjoyer amongst all enjoyers. You are the master of all the world's metaphysical philosophy, for you are the supreme cause of all causes, Lord Krishna. You are the greatest of all religious principles, the supreme mind, and you have a brain which is never checked by any conditions. Therefore, I repeatedly offer my obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah, so now we will go, because the puppet is very, very long. So what I'll do is, we are taking each word from this shloka and we'll try to understand and go deeper in that. So now, Namasta Ashisham Isha. So now Ashisham, आशीष शब्द हम लोग हिंदी में सुनते हैं ना, आशीष का अर्थ क्या होता है?
Blessings.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Wonderful. Ashish matlab blessings, boons, benedictions. So he is the one, Ashisham Isha. He is the one who's topmost benedictor. So Lord Shiva is saying like this for Lord Krishna. So why do we say Krishna is the topmost benedictor? Boons dene mein wo, he is topmost. So how can we say that? What is the greatest boon that Lord has given us? Can anybody ponder upon that? Can give a word?
Mataji, the boons given by demigods are temporary. They are
No,
not
Mataji.
permanent.
Acha, you are comparing. Okay, fine. Yes.
But
Tell me, Mataji.
the boons given by Supreme Personality of Godhead is permanent. And for example, Dhruva Maharaja got a planet which is higher than Brahmaloka, his grandfather's, great grandfather's place. But he said he don't want anything. Even then he got. So whatever blessings he give, it is permanent. It is eternal. That is.
Okay. Anyone else would like to try? Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else would like to give it a try? Why is Lord the Supreme? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, in this material world, in this miseries condition, like Lord give us His bhakti, devotional service to us. So if we do His devotional service 24 hours a day, by keeping Him in a center, we can across this material ocean, Mataji.
Thank you, everybody. But here I would like to tell you, these are nice boons. Yes, Lord has given us so many uncountable boons. But the topmost thing Lord Chaitanya came to give. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. There is a condition put. Sarva dharman parityajya. He's putting a condition. But when Lord Chaitanya comes in this Kali Yuga, what does he do? He is Namo Mahavadanyaya. He is so merciful.
Nam Akari Bahuda.
Yeah, so listen, Mataji. So what does he give? He gives Golokera Premadhana Hari Nama Sankirtan. The mantra that is come from Golok Dham, that he's given us. आपने बोला ध्रुव महाराज का perfect, Mataji, 100% correct. But is the goal of our life to get a big kingdoms or planetary positions or anything? We are not looking for that. We are absolutely not aspiring. What are we all as aspiring devotees, Vaishnavas, looking for? We want to revive the dormant love of the Lord in our heart. Correct or no? And what does Lord Chaitanya do? He doesn't even see our qualification. Actually, we are zero qualified. We don't have any qualification. In Kali Yuga, everybody is so adam. But Lord Chaitanya, out of his mercy, so much mercy, he's given us this holy name. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Who knows this verse? Shishtastakam verse, the very first verse, which describes the glories of the holy name. This mantra that we are chanting is no ordinary. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. How it cleanses the heart. The dust from the layers of dust are there on this mirror of my heart. Layers of so much anger, greed, pride, illusion. So many layers are there. So tell me, if the mirror is covered with dust, can we see our faces? Can we see our faces when the mirror is covered by the dust? We can't see. Similar way, when we have so many anarthas in the heart, what we will be able to see the Lord who's seated in our heart. How can we self-realization kaise hoga? That I am not this body, I am soul. We are so much on the bodily platform. So Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadhavagni Nirvapanam. The blazing fire of this material existence is extinguished when we are chanting this holy names. Blazing fire means so many kleshas are there, the three tapas that we know. Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. So many miseries are there in this material world. Our mind is never at peace. But the blazing fire of material existence is put off. Holy names. So potent. So many things are written about the glories of the holy name. If we open, it will be so many verses. It is giving cooling effect to the heart. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Shreya Kairava, that like the cooling rays of the moon. The heart is burning. But that cooling rays of the moon, it's like pacifying us, giving Shreya, which is so auspicious. It is bringing good fortune to all living entities. When we chant this holy name, then it is saying Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Anand is talking about the bliss, not this material happiness which is flickering. Anand means transcendental bliss, that happiness. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amrita Swadanam. Pratipadam means every step we are experiencing a nectar, Amrita. So that Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, that glories to that holy name. May there be victory to this holy name. But currently we are not experiencing because our chanting has to be offenseless, right? But this holy name is capable of giving us Krishna Prem, right? So this is what we are wanting. We have to revive that dormant love is there, but it has to be awakened. So this chanting of holy name, such a simple method Lord Chaitanya gave us. So this is the biggest benediction Lord Chaitanya gave. The second word in the verse was Manave. Manave has again two meanings as per the Srila Prabhupada's purport. Manave means the perfection of all mantras. We just glorified the holy name. So Lord's holy names bring perfection in one's life. The other meaning of Manave here, Prabhupada writes, Manave could be interpreted in two ways. So Manave means Manu. Manu is the father of mankind. That's why we all are called Manushya. So Manu is again Manvantara. Incarnation is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So Manave is written there because he is the Supreme Manu. Lord Krishna is Supreme Manu. In a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. And each Manu's lifespan is quite the Chatur Yuga multiplied by 71. So like that, in a day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus coming up. So here, Lord Shiva is glorifying like that. Manave word has two meanings. One was mantra and one was he's talking about Manu. And Manu has given Manu Samhita. I think Manu's chapter 4 in Bhagavad Gita, the shloka says, right? So
Manurichva Bebravit.
Absolutely, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah. So the Manu Samhita is the law book for all the humans. Like in several places in Bhagavad Gita also, Prabhupada has quoted that Manu Samhita. So he is the lawgiver and he is incarnation again of the Supreme. Karanatmane. So there Prabhupada had translated it as cause of all causes. How is Krishna cause of all causes? We read that, no, Brahma Samhita. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in that Karan means there has to be a cause for something. Today, if I am there here speaking to you, my cause is my parents, my father. His cause is his father. Like that, if you go back, you reach till Lord Krishna, because then Brahma came from the body of Lord Krishna. I mean, we understood Garbhodakshai Vishnu and everything, but ultimately it comes to Krishna, and for Krishna there is no cause. We can't say Krishna ka koi cause hai kya? Nahi hai. He is the source of everything. Which is the verse in Bhagavad Gita where he says he is the source of material and the spiritual worlds.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattas sarvam pravartate.
Very nice, Mataji. Thank you.
Bhajante mam Bhava samanvitaha.
Fantastic, Mataji. So he is the cause of material world. He is the cause of spiritual world. He is sarva karana karanam. So सब चीज का cause यही है. But Prabhupada in the purport mentions there are this people, philosophers, scientists, Srila Prabhupada has written in, but they feel that this material world just manifested one fine day. Big Bang Theory. It just happened by chance. Now, if I'm talking currently now to you all, there is a laptop in front of me. Is laptop ka bhi to koi cause hoga na? There must be somebody who manufactured it, somebody who made it. I can't say one night I slept, And then next day morning, oh, there was a laptop on the table. It just happened by chance. It came. Existence aise thodi hoti. So this Prabhupada is writing in the purport like that Krishna is the cause behind everything. And this material world also emanates from him. Everything, he is the source. So this is very important for us to understand. And Prabhupada is refuting this philosophy that it just happened by chance. One fine day, there was a big bang and then suddenly things appeared. It just doesn't have any much logic, Prabhupada is saying. The next word used in this verse is, Lord Shiva is telling, Krishna is, these are all different words that I'm taking are the glories of Krishna that Lord Shiva is singing. So each word, that's why I took, so that we could understand it better. Akuntha Medase. So in that shloka, what does Akuntha Medase mean? Medase means buddhi, brain. So we all know, everybody has different levels of intelligence. Like, somebody may be having more than me, somebody may be having still higher than that person. So the brainy person जो है सबसे ज्यादा उसको भी there is some limitation he has. There is some limitation. He cannot go beyond a certain limit. His brain will not work beyond a certain limit. His brain will have some limit to which it can absorb, some limit to which it can store, some limit to which it can recall. Right? As all mortals, we have capacities. But here Lord Shiva is telling Akuntha Medase means Lord's intelligence, brain is it's not only unlimited, it is not restricted by time and space. Let us understand, it's a bit technical, but let us understand it through an example. Like when we see Hiranyakashipu, he did tapasya and he took boons from Brahma. Because Brahma wasn't, he firstly asked Brahma that I want to be immortal. Brahma said, it's not possible. Even it's not possible for me to give you this boon. So being an Asura, he thought, I will trick Brahma. He thought he's very intelligent. And he asked all the boons in such a way that I shouldn't die at the hands of an animal, human, neither in the day, neither at the night, neither on this earth nor in the sky, neither through a weapon. He thought, I have secured myself enough and I have tricked Brahma. So his intelligence, what he could use, he thought he is now immortal, he cannot die. But what did Lord do? Is his intelligence, is his brain power limited? No. He took a form which fulfilled all those conditions. Whatever boon Brahmaji had given, he took a form and he killed Hiranyakashipu as per all the conditions which Brahma, he fulfilled all those conditions. So this is what is meant by Akuntha Medase. Bhagwan ki buddhi itni सीमित नहीं है हमारी तरह. It can go to any vast extent. He is the source of our intelligence. Several times Srila Prabhupada has said that there are many people who claim that we are highly intelligent, we have brains, we could do this, that. Prabhupada said, who has given you this intelligence? Where, in which laboratory is this intelligence being manufactured? No, we cannot manufacture intelligence. It comes from Krishna. So we shouldn't claim that I have done this because I am so intelligent, I could do using my intelligence. No, everything comes from Krishna. Again, Sarva Karana Karana. So everything we should be convinced is coming, that I have certain power, I have certain intelligence, I have Parushaman Rishu. I am the ability in man. Whatever abilities are there within us come from Lord. So we are grateful to the Lord. Nothing is, we shouldn't take the credit for that, in simple words. Then there is another word in this same shloka, Purushaya Purana. He is the oldest, right? As I explained now, कि उनका कोई cause नहीं. He is the oldest. Purushaya, he is the Param Purusha and he is the oldest. At the same time, we also see Srila Prabhupada writes when he was fighting the Mahabharata war. See, oldest doesn't mean like how we mortals, when we become 70, 80, how there are changes in our body, this material body. But for Lord, it is not like Lord is eternally Nava Yauvanam. Nava Yauvanam. Even when he's fighting in the battlefield of during this Mahabharata war, he looked now Yavanam. Bhishma Dev is glorifying, looking at his beauty. So that time he was above 100, it seems, by material calculations. But Lord is eternally Navyavanam. So that's the beauty. And the last word of this shloka is Sankhya Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara word, where does it come in Bhagavad Gita? Any shloka you all remember? Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Dhanurdhara, that towards the end the shloka comes.
Yes, yes,
Yogeshwara,
yes.
yes. So he is the master of the mystic powers. What mystic powers did Krishna exhibit? योगेश्वर बोला है ना उनको, तो क्या बोल सकते हैं आप?
He
इतनी
raised
सारी
the
लीला है.
Govardhana hill. He raised the
that's all.
Govardhana hill.
Yes, very good. Thank you. See, he swallowed the forest fire. Imagine swallowing fire like that. That picture is so beautifully given in Krishna book. He expanded 16,108 queens he had. So each palace had, he expanded himself into so many Krishnas. And also during the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he expanded himself into as many calves and the Gopasakhas. And all were looking the way they were actually looking. But that was Krishna who had expanded. So he is Yogeshwara. But here particularly Lord Shiva is saying is Sankhya Yogeshwara. Sankhya philosophy means what, you know? Sankhya means क्या? हिंदी में संख्या बोलते हैं, मतलब क्या? Counting, na? We see that Sankhya Purvaka Nama Ganana TB, that Ashtakam that we sing for our Acharyas, Goswami. Sankhya yani counting. They used to chant, have a count of how many rounds they are chanting holy names. That's why even for us Vaishnavas also count how many number of rounds, specific number is given for chanting the holy name. So Sankhya means basically counting. Srila Prabhupada mentions, but Sankhya का मतलब है analytical study of the material nature, both gross and subtle both. See, now we are having total 24 elements. So like that, when we are making this analytical study, of that material body as how many elements, so all that is called Sankhya philosophy. And who is given this Sankhya philosophy? And he is Krishna as Yogeshwara, Sankhya Yogeshwara. He is the one, he is the supreme Yogeshwara who is given Sankhya philosophy to us. Kapila, Lord Kapila, who is son of Devahuti. There was one more, Prabhupada writes in translation, purport, that there was one atheist Kapila, but not that. Not that atheist Kapila. We are talking about Lord Kapila, whose mention comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, son of Mother Devahuti. So he propounded this Sankhya philosophy. So Lord Shiva is glorifying him. So I hope this shloka is clear now. Shall we go to the next verse? The third one for the day, the last one for the day. That's very interesting and equally beautiful verse. This has a smaller purport. I think we can take up the purport also. Shakti Traya Sametaya Midushe Ankritatmane Chet Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. Any one of you kindly follow up?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I read?
Yes, Mataji.
Shaktitraya sametaya miduse ahankartatmane cheta akuti rupaya namo vacho vibhutaye.
Thank you.
Mataji, somebody else is raising the hands. So let them continue, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay. I can't see here. So whoever has raised the hand, kindly read it. Translation, please.
Divya Mataji.
Continue,
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injections. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Anybody would like to read the purport quickly?
Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yeah, please.
Purport. Everyone acts under the dictation of the ego. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Shiva or Rudra is himself the controller of egotism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord, so that his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit, he is praying in this way. For the impersonalist, pure egotism is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, the spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord according to the directions of the Vedas. This is the process for purifying false egotism. Chetaha means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is the vacha or sound vibration given by Vedic instructions. Here the word vacha or vibrations means the Vedic vibrations. The origin of creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus Lord Shiva is praying again and again for the purification of the body, mind and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure directions of the Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses and words will all turn towards devotional activities only. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Pranams.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for reading that. Divya Desai is Acha Mataji, that's you who raised the hand.
Yes, Mataji. Just
Okay.
read this.
Yeah. So now coming up to the last verse, which is equally beautiful. Now let us understand here, false ego is being spoken about. Firstly, let us understand what ego means. What does ego mean in our parlance, Vedic parlance? What does ego mean?
Subtle.
Pardon?
False ego you're asking, Mataji, or ego?
Firstly, we'll understand what ego. Ego means identity. Okay. Now, under ego, we have false ego and we have real ego. So let us understand what does false ego mean. Can you give me help me understand what false ego means? We've been using this term so much in Bhagavat. Huh?
Like thinking oneself superior. I am the greatest.
False ego means when I think I am this body, I don't take myself as soul. When I say I am a woman, I am Indian, you are American, I am a doctor, you are a teacher, I am, all these upadhis, I am a mother, I am a sister, all these, whatever. Firstly, I consider myself as body. Then everything connected with this body that I am thinking I am so-and-so's wife, I am so-and-so's mother, I am Indian by birth, I am American. So all this is called false. This is my wrong identity, right? When I consider myself as body, obviously this identity is false. So what is real identity? What does real identity mean? Real ego mean?
Eternal servant of the Lord.
Yes. So that time I understand I am a Jivatma, I am a soul who's part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and I must be serving the Supreme Lord. That is what is really. But currently what has happened, we are, as the purport also said, we are under the dictation of false ego. What does that mean? We are under the dictation of false ego because we currently just involving on the activities based on this body. And we are in that bubble of illusion. And as a result, because identifying ourselves with the body, he's my friend, he's my enemy, I am this, he's not my country person. So all this is happening. And this is called as per the Shastra, a diseased stage, conditioned soul. क्यों बोलते हैं? Diseased stage है. But we have healthy state means when I understand I am not this body, I am soul, and my original constitution position is Jivera Sarupoe Krishnena Nityada. I should be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That is my original identity. But currently, being in this false ego, we are currently in this situation. And then, how do we come out? Through knowledge. And who will impart us this knowledge? Who will impart us? We have to take the help of what? Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, right? A Vaishnava will come, a Brahmana will come, a Guru will come, Shastras are there. When we take shelter of this Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, that knowledge is imparted to us. The knowledge that what is my real identity and why and where am I going wrong? Why am I suffering in this material world? Where do I belong? I belong to that spiritual world. So all this knowledge comes from the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we are reading, hearing, So here Lord Shiva is talking about purifications. So once we have this knowledge, we start taking our baby steps in the spiritual life, spiritual practices. So particularly here Lord Shiva is mentioning about body, mind and vacha, words, right? So we are ideally supposed to engage our mind in thinking of the Lord. But what are we currently doing? This mind is just taking us 1,000 places. Even when I sit quietly and chant, but in my mind, I'm already in some other foreign country. It moves like that. If I'm chanting, I will think of my office. Today I have to do this job. If I'm chanting, that time mind will take me to the kitchen. Oh, I have to do this today. So many thoughts keep coming away from the lotus feet of the Lord. So the mind needs to be controlled. Now, what does Arjuna say to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita about control of mind? Was he happy when Krishna said, need to control the mind? What did he say?
Mataji, he says, even controlling the wind is easier, but it is difficult to control the mind. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, he says. So,
Perfect.
He says by practice and detachment, abhyasa.
Yes. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyecha griyate. But his first problem, Arjuna, imagine, we are nobody. Arjuna is a powerful Dhanurdhara and such a civilized person, such a wonderful Pandava with so many virtues. He's telling Chanchalam, this flickering. Chanchalami mana Krishna pramarthi, balavad dridam, it is strong, it is obstinate. Hat pakad leta hai, ziddi man hai. I can control the wind, but for me to control mind seems impossible. Controlling wind is equally not easy, but Arjuna had that power to control wind, but he says, I can't control mind. So controlling mind is when it is not easy, but there must be, Shastra say we have to. Money ek cheez hai, it can open the gates for us to cut off this cycle of birth and death. Maneva manushyanam karana bandha mokshaye. It can either free us or it can either entangle us in this material world. So this mind is so powerful. How do I control it? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj said, mind is a non-devotee. 100 times beat it with your shoe in the morning. Not shoe, shoe. With your shoes. And in the night, again beat it 100 times with a broom. But what does that mean? How can we beat our mind 100 times? Basically, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Maharaj is saying that let our intelligence control the mind. Intelligence should be so strong that it is able to subdue the mind. How do we make our intelligence more stronger than the mind? When we practice spirituality, when we are very fixed on our spiritual practices, on our sadhana, on our chanting, on our reading, swadhyaya, reading, hearing from the Shastras, when we are very, very fixed on that, the mind, the intelligence gets stronger. And when it is very strong, it can push the mind. If it wants to wander here and there, intelligence will subdue it. It's like there's a balloon and there's a bucket filled with water. So if I leave the balloon, it will be on top of the water only. But if I take my hand and push it, thrust it under the water, until the time I am holding my hand over that balloon, the balloon is submerged in the water. But as soon as I leave my hand, balloon pops up again. Similar way, the minute I go lax on my spiritual practices, my intelligence goes weak and the mind overpowers again. So this is how we have to understand that even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhava madbhakto. You have to think with this mind about me. Mind's job is to think, but instead of thinking mundane, let us think only about the Lord. So that is one short way of controlling the mind. Abhyas. We may fail 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, but if you are fixed and consistent, it will happen. Coming to body. Body, also Lord Shiva is saying, these have to be controlled. Body in the sense, what is the, in Bhagavad Gita gives us all the shlokas. What is the austerity for the body? There is a verse in, I think, 17th chapter. Yeah, there is Deva Dvija Guru Prajna. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna. Pujanam Shaucha Arjavam. What does it say? We should bow down to all our elders, to our guru, to all the respectable people. Deva, even the demigods, Deva, Dvija, Brahmana,
Deva
Guru.
Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam
Yes.
Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Shariram Tapa Uchyate.
Sharira Tapa Uchayate. Yes, 17th chapter,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So
17.14.
Yeah. So we should, how can we purify this body? How can we keep this body controlled? Then we have to bow down. By bowing down, offering respects to all these seniors, exalted personalities. That is again tapa. Why? Our false ego doesn't allow us to bow down in front of somebody. One time, Prabhupada's disciples abroad asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, early days, why these other people are, all these others are bowing down to you? Means they used to offer obeisances like a danda, na, fall flat fully. So Prabhupada said, they are thinking why you are not bowing down to me. So Prabhupada tried to tell that when we bow down like this, it deflates our ego. It makes us humble. So this is important. Shaucham means keeping the body clean. Not only body, inside your heart and mind also clean. Arjavam, living a very simple life. We need not have a lot of stuff to make our life more complicated. Live a simple life, high thinking, simple living, high thinking. Then there is celibacy talked about, and the further ahimsa, non-violence. So when we are following this, so body. Now coming to speech. Speech also there is a beautiful verse, Anudvega Karam Vakyam, Satyam Priyam Hitam Cha. So how our words should be? Our words should be not causing any agitation to somebody. Speak in a manner that it doesn't agitate somebody's heart and mind. Satya, speak truth. See, it's an art. Several times people say, Satya bola, lekin you spoke in such a tone that it was not pleasing to that person. Say the truth, but in a very nice. It shouldn't be displeasing that person. Pleasing, in a pleasing manner. So it's an art. Now there's an example given when Prabhupada's early days disciple, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj was there. So when he was a personality from US, he joined the movement. He was only son of his parents. So when he joined the movement, initially parents were a little bit upset, but then they said, let it be, he's feeling happy. So let him be there. But when Prabhupada, 1970, I think, he brought all his 30 disciples to India for preaching. Giriraj Swami Maharaj was one of them. He was not Swami, he was a brahmachari at that time. But when his parents realized, oh, he's gone to India, leaving US, they didn't like it. They landed up in India, they went and met Srila Prabhupada and they said, see, we have a lot of affection for our son. Please ask him to come back to US. So Srila Prabhupada asked Giriraj Maharaj, you want to go back? He said, no. Then he looked at his parents and he said, see, I'm sure you all don't want me to force him to go back with you. Things like that. Very gently Prabhupada was speaking. Then Prabhupada told Giriraj Swami Maharaj and his parents, that Giriraj Swami to take them to foothills of Himalayas. There are some resorts. Spend some nice days with them. So 5-6 days they went there. When they returned back, Prabhupada would always talk to them. Nothing, he didn't preach them basically, but he was just very gently and sweetly talking to them. differences between India and US, many things like that. They kind of, Prabhupada befriended them kind of. His Vani was so sweet that finally they left India and went happily, leaving their son behind. They got so happy that, yeah, this person is really going to take good care of our son. So they got convinced. This was Srila Prabhupada, that he was so sure what kind of words to use and to whom and where, how to say the truth, but say in a very nice, pleasing manner, which is beneficial, hitam. So lastly, Shiva speaks about, again, the coming back to the mantra, our holy name, where chanting is the process of purification. This is how we conclude that verse. Again, to conclude there's a one short story that how the holy name works. There was this one con man, this is again foreign land, there was one criminal kind of a person. Police was chasing him. He enters ISKCON temple and he thinks, here, police will not catch me. And then he's living there. And when he's living there, he's following all the rules in the temple, rising up early, chanting with them, hearing Bhagavatam. And this went on for several months. He even shaved off his head. Then one day when he went for book distribution, he got caught by the police. But the temple president went and requested the police, said, no, he's a criminal, we can't leave him. So when he was put behind bars, so there in the jail, they would throw them bread for lunch, loaves of bread. So all the other jail inmates, they would fight with each other and they would just pounce upon each other for that piece of bread. This person, he became so civilized, he became so transformed by chanting the holy name. His heart really transformed so much. He befriended these inmates. He told them, why are you all doing like this? Tomorrow when they bring food, when they throw it down, we will catch it. You all give me those loaves of bread. I will offer to the Lord. I will make prayers to the Lord. And then I will give you all stand in the line. The way Prashadam is distributed in ISKCON, like that, he said, you all stand in the line. Equal portions daily, he started giving them. So the other people also started turning very civilized. They started understanding, no, before eating, we must offer it to Lord. And when the police officer came and he said, no, things have changed in this cell so much because of this one man. So his punishment was brought down and he was released. So this is how the impact of chanting, the impact of morning program that Srila Prabhupada gave us, impact of hearing and reading Shastras, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, by his mercy, how much transformation happens. So with that, we will wind up. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you for being there for the today's session. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for the session, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. I hope it was clear. There are no doubts in anything. If you have any questions? Thank you
No,
so much.
Mataji.
Hare
No,
Krishna.
Mataji. The thing is, we have to make it practice, Mataji. We have to make it practice.
It is a perfect purification process.
Yes,
Chanting
Mataji.
of the holy name.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.